So if in your analysis, you're thinking through about this cut, if the state's going to decrease its contribution by almost a quarter, what are the implications of a lawsuit that says we are not the primary funders of education, that we're relying too much on locals to foot the bill of this state service?
Well, I think in terms of an adequacy lawsuit or in terms of state property tax?
Well, the last lawsuit was based on over-reliance of property taxes. At least that argument was the one that won the day. And so if we're going to see a decrease in the state's contribution from non-property tax sources by 23%, doesn't that have an implication on the constitutionality of our school finance system?
I'm not advised on that question. I think you can speak to certain lawyers that...
That's probably a good answer.
Well advised to be not advised.
Let me give you a 30-year lawyer opinion.
I'm surprised Mr. O'Brien didn't come flying out in front of you and stop.
Let me help you on that, John. That's one you don't want to answer. Let me just tag with Mike. I'll stay with Mike. Tell us what the state contribution is right now, roughly, and then what the state contribution would be with this reduction.
We're working on those numbers at the moment. The state share of the Foundation School Program after House Bill 1 has hovered roughly between 46 and 49%. It would go up under current law for 1213. It would go up, obviously, because local revenue is declining. This would drop that below 45% if this were to be the final version of the budget bill. But like I said, we're going to put those numbers together and provide it to the committee.
As you put together this table that calculates the balance between the state's share of the education bill versus local government, my question is, would that just include the FSP, or should it take a broader look at these grant programs that TA was administering?
Traditionally, when we've calculated state share of the FSP, we include only the formulas, only the FSP. It would not including non-FSP grant programs, not including other things like TRS or anything else, just the FSP, both maintenance operations and the INS side, the facility side of the FSP.
And I know that's not the only metric that we should be mindful of. If I recall, and Scott reminded me that it's also a question of how many pennies of discretion our local school districts have available to themselves. And so if we, in this session, see a decrease of $9.8 billion in the system, I would imagine there would be a number of school districts choosing to make up that loss by increasing their local property tax rates. Has your group considered or looking at that dynamic and having some kind of analysis that tells us if we're going to cut $9.8 billion, will we then see a whole bunch of school districts raise their rates so that we're back in the posture we were when we got sued?
We'll certainly
lost.
We'll certainly look at it. It's difficult to predict
Sure.
district behavior, especially with the election requirement. But we will certainly look at we can look at a variety of scenarios of what districts might do.
Mm-hmm.